America's longest war is about to come to an end. Earlier this year, President Biden said all US troops will withdraw from Afghanistan in September 2021, marking it nearly 20 years since US-led invasion of the country. Since then, hundreds of thousands have died, millions displaced, trillions spent on war effort, and yet no clear signs that much progress has been made. Today we will look at America's longest war through numbers to try and understand the true cost of war. My name is Ratko and this is the Big Idea Society report, Nurturing Great Thinking. Following the 9/11 attacks in 2001, US-led coalition launched an invasion of Afghanistan on October the 7th with a dual objective to capture Osama bin Laden and wipe out Al-Qaeda and to overthrow the Taliban-led government. Within 2 years, an initial suppression and fleeing of the Taliban from the key areas in Afghanistan, President George W. Bush declared the mission accomplished. The mission was far from over. At the same time, US commenced invasion of Iraq in 2003, stretching the battlefront across two nations in a historically unstable and explosive region. After serving as interim leader, Hamid Karzai is elected president in 2004, and whilst he works closely with the US, relations gradually start to sour. Already in 2006, the Taliban are regrouping and gaining momentum, leading to escalating attacks and retaking of territory in Afghanistan. This is when US starts to set new objectives but without really defining them clearly, and most importantly, without any timelines. US officials say it is necessary to help the Afghans build a stable government and launch reconstruction initiatives. But this strategy runs counter to Bush's early promise not to engage in nation building. By 2007, number of US troops in Afghanistan grows to 25,000. With the election of President Barack Obama in 2008, number of US troops continues to surge, and by 2009, the US troops increased to 70,000, whilst its allies an additional 50,000. Osama bin Laden is finally killed by the US Special Forces in May 2011. On December 28, 2014, NATO combat mission Operation Enduring Freedom officially ends, 13 years after the initial invasion. As a result, it is replaced by two separate missions. One, Resolute Support, NATO forces to provide training and support to Afghan forces, and two, Freedom Centennial, US forces to continue to carry out special operation raids and other counter-terrorism operations with some assistance from Afghan units. By 2017, withdrawal of US troops remains a promise on paper and far from realization. As President Trump's term nears its end, Acting Defense Secretary Christopher C. Miller says troops will be reduced from about 5,000 to 2,500 by January 15, 2021. When a line in the sand is drawn and 20 years of war, we come to these sobering figures. Since the invasion on October the 7th, 2001, an estimated 241,000 people have died as a direct result of war, and many hundreds of thousands more due to hunger, disease, and injury caused by displacement and devastation of the war. The approximate totals are as following: 71,000 civilians killed, 3,500 US and NATO troops, 78,000 national military and police forces, 84,000 opposition fighters, 136 journalists, 549 humanitarian aid workers, 4,000 contractors. From 2010 to 2020, some 3,000 women have died, whilst 8,000 children. Around 2.7 million people are estimated to have been displaced and forced to flee. In terms of financial cost, US has spent a stunning $2.26 trillion on the war effort and subsequently nation building of Afghanistan over the last 20 years. This includes anything and everything from fuel to food to operational expenses, weapons and ammunition, tanks, armored vehicles, and of course, carriers and airstrikes. As reported by Associated Press back in April 2021, Washington has poured $143 billion in nation building since entering Afghanistan. $88 billion went towards training and equipping the Afghan military and police force. Another $36 billion was spent on reconstruction projects, education, and infrastructure such as dams and highways. $4.1 billion has gone to humanitarian aid for refugees and disasters. A further $9 billion has gone towards deterring Afghans from selling heroin around the world. America has paid $530 billion in interest, another $296 billion in medical care for veterans. So 20 years on, and time for US troops in Afghanistan is up, as Taliban push on to reclaim all territories that were once under their control, including the capital Kabul. However, the true cost of war in Afghanistan is undeniably high, not only because of the tremendous amount of money spent on fighting the Taliban, but because the number of innocent civilians that have lost their lives in the hope of seeing a better future. This was Big Ideas Society Report. For more content like this, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel.